Hi, my name is Samantha Glode, and I chose the movie Gladiator to debate the ethics of Stoicism and how prevalent they are in the film. Stoicism is the philosophy created by Epictetus. Like his name does not suggest, he really wasn't that epic. He was a very humble man who believed that you resigned to your own fate. It's gonna what it's the ultimate fate is everyone is ultimately going to die. So any action that you make in life, you should just do it dutifully and acquire a tranquility from it. It's the only thing you can control, really, is how you handle certain situations. And that brings me to our story at hand, which is actually the movie Gladiator. And I really love this movie. I highly recommend it. Gladiator is the story of two men who want the same thing, but necessarily for different reasons, really. One man wants it because he wants it for himself. The other man, what he wants is he wants to become Caesar to transfer the power over to the Senate. And Socrates was right behind the Senate holding power over how things are run, because what he believed was people are not smart enough to make these educated decisions for the good of the country. Most people are just out for themselves, and they're not well educated enough to make decisions. That's what he thought. They're driven by whims and outside forces. But the beginning of the movie starts off in Germania. The war is won. It's a gruesome battle. It's been going on for 12 years. Marcus Aurelius is dying. He has to transfer power over to someone, and he's got two choices. He's got his son Commodus, and he's got his highest commander-in-chief, who is Marcus Decimus. I can never remember his last name. Meridius. It's very long in that sense. But what ends up happening is Marcus tells Maximus that he's going to be giving him power because he knows he doesn't want it. And he holds all his virtues, which are wisdom, justice, fortitude, temperance. He knows Maximus holds these virtues, which makes him the prime candidate for being Caesar and then transferring the power back to the Senate, which is his last dying wish. That's all he wants out of his life. His son, however, wants to hold power just to hold power because he thinks it's owed to him for his father not really being there when he was younger and raising him. He was at war. He feels like he's just been left out and left behind. But when Commodus gets told that he's not going to be Caesar, he makes a pretty rash and unjust decision. He kills his father in a bear hug. But he counters back to his father's virtues, and he says he has virtues of his own, which he doesn't even uphold. Ambition is one of his virtues. He has no ambition. He is waiting for his father to die so he can take power. Resourcefulness. He's resourceful in the sense that if he wants something, he's going to kill anybody in his way to get it. But he has no allies. Nobody likes him. People fear him. So he has no resources behind him. One of his other virtues is courage. He shows no courage on the battlefield. This entire war, he's at the palace debating daily with the Senate. He shows no devotion. He says he's devoted to family, which he is not, because as soon as he says it and he gets told he's not getting power, he kills his own father. How devoted to family can you be if you're going to kill you and murder your own father? It makes no sense to me. It just means that he does not believe in the philosophy of Stoicism because they have certain virtues and he does not uphold any of them. But anyway, the battle is won. Marcus Aurelius dies. Commodus takes power. He does not know that Maximus knows that he is to take power. So he's going to have him killed. He tries to have him killed. It's foiled. Maximus kills everybody and gets away. He gets really wounded. He ends up as a slave, and then he gets sold to this guy who runs a business, which is gladiators. It's in the middle of the desert because Maximus had gotten rid of gladiators. He did not want that for Rome. And what he wanted for Rome was to prosper and have the power back to the Senate where it should belong. Basically giving the power back to the people, because the people are the ones who choose the Senate members. And the Senate members are the ones who are educated enough to make these decisions, like Socrates wanted. So, Commodus thinks Maximus is dead. He's having a ball ruling his kingdom, and he decides to bring back the Colosseum. Maximus is slowly making his rank up in gladiator fights. People love him but hate him at the same time because he does not give them what they want. He does it dutifully and gets it done and over with, like Stoics will. He just gets it done, moves on his way. Well, which also, I forgot, leads me to Proximo, who is the person who bought Maximus from the slave trader. He believes in Stoicism as well, because we're all dead men. We're all going to die at some point. The only thing we can choose is how we meet that fate and how we are remembered as men. The purpose and theme that the director is trying to purvey in this entire film is the philosophy of Stoicism. And you can't control anything, really, that happens in your life. The only thing you can grasp firmly in your hands is how you handle what life throws at you. That said, when he chose Maximus to be, Rome's future, it made me ponder where he saw him in the future and where he saw Rome going. He wanted it to go back to the Senate, whereas Commodus wanted none of that. And Proximo thought it was more of a fool's errand, if anything. But Socrates, he's right behind it. I think most often than not, when you see between the relationship between father and son, he probably could have turned out better if his father was not, at war the entire time. So I think he blames his father for his own shortcomings as well. And that's why he thinks, being Caesar is owed to him when it clearly is not. Things are not owed to you, you earn them. But he does know Rome. Rome is the mob. Senator Gracchus says this in the film. He says, I think he knows what Rome is. Rome is the mob. Conjure magic for them and they will be distracted. Take away their freedom and still they will roar. The beating heart of Rome is not the marble of the Senate, but it is the sand of the Colosseum. He'll bring them death and they will love him for it. And that's exactly what he does. And for quite a few, I'm not sure, I want to say months, the people of Rome are happy. Everyone's going to the Colosseum to watch gladiators. What he doesn't know is Maximus is still alive. Eventually Maximus ends back up at the Colosseum because they invite Proximo back to bring his gladiators. They're having this, I want to say it's 150 days festival to commemorate his father, which is hilarious because his father hated the Colosseum and gladiators and the whole aspect around it. He abolished it from his country, and his son brought it back to commemorate his memory. I found it rather funny. But nearing the end of the film, the entire time that Maximus is in the Colosseum, he's fighting. Commodus realizes he's alive when Maximus unmasks himself and tells him exactly who he is. And then he's like, people are lying to me. I can't trust anyone. He sometimes feels the only one he can trust on the face of this earth is his sister. And even then he can't trust her because she believes in Stoicism so heavily that she betrays him as well. Because his virtues they're not for justice. They're not for what Rome needs. And Gracchus, nearing the end of the film, he questions Maximus's thought process behind why he wants to give the Senate back the power. And Maximus is just like, I want nothing to do with it. He's like I've basically had one hell of a time. My family has been murdered. I was almost murdered. I was put into slavery. I was made into a gladiator. I had, he had to fight in front of the man that had his family killed. And one of his best friends, really, was Caesar before Commodus. He had him killed too. He's had a lot of hardships, but this entire time he has controlled his emotions. He has been rational, he's been reasonable, and even when brought up about what it means to be a good gladiator, make the people love you, Proximo says you need to give them like what they want. They want bloodshed. They want changes. They want to see something good, you know? And when he's not giving them what they want, they just like, really? After he starts giving the people what he wants, he becomes their hero. He becomes their martyr. And that means that after he's discovered by Commodus, he can't kill him yet. It would seem unmerciful. And nearing the end of the film, they hatch a plan to have Commodus killed, but they have to get Maximus out. It completely unfoils. People are murdered. People are jailed. Proximo gets killed. Commodus decides that he's going to, for a very last final duel, he's going to fight Maximus in the ring. He's going to fight him man to man, and he's going to prove himself finally of being courageous and all these virtues he's talked about. But he fights dirty. He wounds Maximus right before the fight. He jabs a knife right into the side of him. So the entire fight, Maximus is like, he's already at least 40%, down power-wise, but he still prevails. He kills Commodus in this sad battle, because you can tell from the start that like something's wrong, and everyone that saw him maim the other guy, they know this fight is just wrong. And right before Maximus is going to kill Commodus, Commodus looks to his men for weapons, and they give him nothing. They just stare at him like, we don't care what happens to you anymore. We are done with you. Maximus gets his weapon, he kills him, and in the ending of killing him, he dies himself. And he goes out, and what I can only say is as stoic as stoicism as possible. His emotions are controlled. He's also hallucinating. He's literally in the fields of Elysium, and his fields happen to be his house and his wife and his child waiting for him in the afterlife. And the greatest quote I found in the film is, if you find yourself alone riding in the green fields with the sun on your face, do not be troubled, for you are in Elysium and you are already dead. His cavalry laughs. Brothers, what we do in life echoes in eternity. And I think that is very prevalent to reality as of now, and even back in gladiator times in Rome. And I think that's all I'm going to say about that. If you guys have any questions, please, by all means, message me. And I really hope you enjoyed my oral report / rant on Stoicism and how it prevails to the movie Gladiator. Thank you.